Senator Packwood's diary, the tantalizing tales take a new turn tonight. California gets a weather break in its long fight against brush fires. And President Clinton today at the rededication of the Kennedy Library.
This is a special edition of NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from Boston.
Good evening. That is the Boston skyline tonight from the John F. Kennedy Library and the new museum, which brings the JFK era alive with the new technology of the 90s. We'll be back here, but we begin tonight in Washington, where there's a growing scandal mushrooming around the diaries of Senator Robert Packwood. Packwood is the subject of a Senate ethics investigation for alleged sexual harassment. His diaries are front and center. NBC's Lisa Myers now.
The Senate is bracing itself for an ugly confrontation Monday, which many believe will turn out to be something between a terrible embarrassment and a debacle. And Senator Packwood is not the only person whose fate may hinge on the outcome. Today, a new twist. A woman from a prominent family who calls herself Jane Doe says she had an affair with Packwood while she was married and he was divorced. Now her lawyer is fighting to keep that private.
My client fears that an improper disclosure is just going to ruin her life.
This afternoon, her lawyer urged the Ethics Committee to have an independent person review Packwood's diary and delete the names of innocent third parties before it goes to the committee.
We're not trying to hinder their investigation in any way.
Packwood's lawyer said many reputations could be damaged if the Senate forces Packwood to turn over thousands of pages of private thoughts and observations.
Why in the world should the committee have the right to reveal embarrassing information about innocent third parties?
Yesterday, the senator apologized for suggesting his diary detailed an affair by a fellow senator.
It is somebody who was in this body some time ago but is no longer a sitting senator.
This battle became increasingly partisan when Ethics Chairman Richard Bryan, a Democrat, revealed that the diary raised questions about possible violations of criminal laws. That infuriated Republican leader Robert Dole, who called Bryan's statement very unfortunate.
This is kind of news a lot of people like. Nail somebody, particularly a senator.
The possible criminal misconduct does not involve current charges that Packwood made unwanted sexual advances. Documents suggest that the new evidence may involve violations of campaign laws. Many senators are genuinely concerned about invading another senator's privacy, but they also fear being accused of a cover-up. Most view Monday's showdown as the political equivalent of a root canal without Novocaine. Lisa Myers, NBC News, the Capitol.
Here in Boston today, President Clinton paid homage to his political hero, John F. Kennedy, and used Kennedy's memory in an effort to pick up a Kennedy vote on an issue crucial to the president. NBC's Andrea Mitchell on the president's visit to the new Kennedy Museum at the library, which bears his name.
It was an emotional day for a young president who was inspired by John F. Kennedy to seek political office. Honoring Kennedy today, the president invoked his hero's spirit to appeal for passage of NAFTA, the trade agreement that has sharply divided the Democratic Party.
This new global economy is our new frontier. President Kennedy understood these challenges of change. He believed in opening the world's trading system. And I believe if President Kennedy were still representing that seat in Congress, he would endorse it as well.
From the Kennedy family, Mr. Clinton received gratitude and praise.
And your presence here really represents a triumph of hope for the future over nostalgia for the past.
But he has not won the vote of pro-labor Senator Ted Kennedy for an agreement opposed by the AFL-CIO.
He's very persuasive.
Apparently not persuasive enough. Kennedy is still leaning against.
There are also going to be losers as well.
With the public, Mr. Clinton's NAFTA sales campaign has been making some headway. In a new NBC News Wall Street Journal poll, nearly half of those questioned, 49%, believe NAFTA will send jobs to Mexico. But that's a big improvement over last month, when 3/4 thought NAFTA would cost jobs. Still, the White House has a long way to go. Only 29% support NAFTA. 1/3 oppose it. The rest don't know enough to decide.
I understand the resentments, the fears, the insecurities of people. Probably a lot of them who work within 20 miles of this plant. But we got to read the agreement. The agreement makes those problems better, not worse.
NAFTA opponents said this week they're only 10 votes short of defeating the pact.
On solid votes against the treaty right now, we're up to 208.
White House officials believe they are at least 30 votes short and need more than half of those who are still undecided. So for the next few weeks, Bill Clinton will be campaigning hard for NAFTA every day. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News with the president in Boston.
When Nightly News continues in a moment, Southern California copes and prepares for the fires next time. A plan to turn Russia's shuttle into a tourist attraction, but will it fly? And a look back at Camelot inside the Kennedy Museum, the Kennedy age in JFK's own words.
The good news, diets rich in antioxidants may benefit your long-term health. The bad news, the average diet is not rich in antioxidants. Today's news, Protegra, the new antioxidant supplement that's all antioxidants. More vitamin E, vitamin C, and beta-carotene. Protegra, with more antioxidant support than you get from a regular multivitamin. To boost your antioxidant levels, even if you take a multivitamin, add Protegra to your daily routine. Protegra, the good news in antioxidants.
Want a really nutritious cereal? You should be eating Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes.
The usual place.
Complete Bran Flakes has twice the fiber of that cereal.
I'll try that one.
Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes has twice the vitamins and minerals. The only one with high fiber plus 14 vitamins and minerals, including beta-carotene.
I'll have Complete Bran Flakes.
High fiber plus vitamins and minerals. Kellogg's Complete Bran Flakes.
Southern California still is reeling from the firestorm that now has burned more than 140,000 acres, and the winds are about to pick up again. Meanwhile, people who have lost their homes struggle to put their lives back together. More from NBC's Larry Carroll tonight.
Today, crews struggle to get the upper hand on blazes that remained after a second day of cool ocean breezes and moderate temperatures. 3 fires were declared extinguished by morning. That left 10 still burning. With 143,000 acres now blackened, today's challenge was to douse remaining embers before Santa Ana winds kick up again, perhaps as soon as tonight. Late yesterday, a flare-up on a flank of the Thousand Oaks fire destroyed 2 more expensive homes. The toll is now above 700 buildings damaged or destroyed. This string of fires is by far the most destructive Southern California has ever seen. Property loss here does not compare with the Oakland Hills fire 2 years ago. More than 2,000 homes were lost there. But the experience is the same for people who now find themselves without.
My baby.
This was to be a retirement home for Ira and Edith Brown. They had built it by the book. They thought they were safe.
We were sure because we had the tile roof, stucco building, and we do the weed abatement every year, clear around the house.
For all their planning, much of their future now hinges on their insurance policy and the skill and sympathy of their adjuster. At least part of their package is an assigned risk policy designed by the state for homes in fire-prone areas.
You can get a receipt for that insurance.
How you doing? This was the first day Laguna Beach residents have been allowed back into the burn area.
We could see the house burn through our rear view mirror as we were going down the hill.
For Tim and Ellen Brady, the experience was almost too much to take.
This is what you gave me for my birthday.
Next to City Hall, there's a mobile claim center, but it's too soon to tell how much insurance will cover. Tomorrow, federal officials will join the effort as 5 disaster application centers open to process requests for aid. Larry Carroll, NBC News, Los Angeles.
As we were able to show you yesterday, the fires seem to have hit some neighborhoods at random. Houses burned down to their foundations, next to others standing almost untouched. As NBC's Sarah James reports tonight, it wasn't all random luck.
Fire turned the hills of Altadena into a patchwork. Devastation, dream homes, side by side.
33 years of living here is going in the back end of that truck.
George Taylorson's home in the Kinaloa Mesa neighborhood was gone in 30 minutes. Gone, too, the flag his Army son-in-law flew in his honor at Guantanamo Bay.
You know, we talk about what we lost, but I gained, too, because my wife's safe, and my dogs and my animals are safe, and my neighbors. I wouldn't trade that for anything.
Around the corner, Sherman Liu's home still stands.
I saw my neighbor's house roof caught on fire. And later on, I saw the house behind my house got caught on fire. And I really thought my house was gone.
Some places it hit and some places it didn't.
Harlan Tripp credits his CalShake roof, cement, vermiculite, fiberglass, with saving his house. But even a flame-proof roof isn't a guarantee against wildfires. There are just too many factors, say firefighters, from how close surrounding brush is to how strong the wind is blowing. In the end, luck is also a factor.
We were just not lucky.
Janice Klump also has a fireproof roof, but firefighters say the extraordinary heat of the blaze created its own explosion. She and her 17-year-old daughter, Brenna, escaped with their 6 horses.
She lost all of her trophies. I lost all of my films of her growing up.
The Klumps have insurance. 2 weeks ago, George Taylor got insurance too. A little bit of good fortune.
You think 3 days afterwards you wouldn't be crying? Didn't bring my Kleenex today because I figured it was going to be tough.
In the hills of Altadena, this fire left all or nothing. Sarah James, NBC News, Altadena.
We have more tonight on the military's policy of banning gays. The U.S. Supreme Court today reversed a California judge's ruling, which effectively had lifted that ban. That means the Clinton administration now is free to enforce its don't ask, don't tell policy. The Pentagon has not said when it will begin enforcing that policy. Marine Corps investigators today confirmed a story reported this summer by NBC News, a pornography ring at Camp Pendleton in California. 10 active-duty Marines were involved, posing for and selling mail-order photos and videos. Those involved could face court-martial. When Nightly News continues in a moment, the Haitian military's hard line against democracy, against Aristide.
As a kid, I naturally burn off anything I ate. As an adult, I ride bikes that don't go anywhere.
Take a new look at Total. More than just good nutrition, it's adult nutrition.
Oh, sure, cornflakes were okay, but I switched to Total. It's better for adults, with a whole day's worth of 12 vitamins and minerals, just 100 calories. I'd have to eat a lot of cornflakes to get all these vitamins. Total's made for me, so now I'm getting somewhere.
Total. More than just good nutrition, it's adult nutrition.
It is an entirely new class of luxury automobile, created to a higher standard. So responsive, its advanced V8 Northstar system makes passing and merging virtually effortless. And so spacious, it accommodates 6 passengers in complete comfort. It is a combination of qualities you've never seen before. Yet a single drive will make you wonder why you ever settled for less. Introducing the all-new DeVille Concours by Cadillac, creating a higher standard.
When I was a kid, Mom was always after me to eat right.
And that's what mothers do.
Now I'm looking out for her with Ensure. More than a vitamin supplement, Ensure is a delicious drink with all the nutrients adults need to help stay healthy, active, be energetic.
Drink Ensure as a meal.
Or in between.
You know, dear, Ensure is even recommended #1 by doctors as a source of complete, balanced nutrition.
Ensure. To your health, Mom.
Our health, dear.
It's Ed's class reunion. Time to celebrate with his wife and his ex-girlfriend.
We've met.
Ed has a problem. Against the Grain, NBC Tonight.
The Friday Night Mystery. Perry Mason's Raymond Burr in his final portrayal of Ironside.
We have a conspiracy on our hands.
Tonight on the NBC Friday Night Mystery.
The generals who run Haiti tighten their grip on that country tonight, hoping to convince the exiled President Aristide to forget about returning to power. And as NBC's David Bloom reports now, Aristide's only hope is more negotiations.
On the streets of Port-au-Prince, a large, carefully orchestrated demonstration of the military's defiance. The mob chanted, "No Aristide," and Aristide's opponents threatened to impeach him and said that in defiance of the United Nations, they would move to form a new government this weekend.
Aristide cannot come back here in this country without going to jail.
If you want to save these people, you have to resign by tomorrow midnight.
Again today, threats were backed up with violence. Another body on the streets. Schools and offices closed because of a national strike called by pro-military thugs opposed to Aristide. Even though Aristide will not return tomorrow to resume his presidency, the American ambassador and the United Nations envoy insisted diplomacy is not dead.
The military may have won a battle this time, but they didn't win the war.
The UN envoy, Dante Caputo, called for yet another round of talks early next week between Haiti's military dictators and Aristide supporters, seeking to salvage the agreement to restore Aristide to power.
But the Haitian people, 2/3 of whom voted for President Aristide, are now left to contemplate the possibility of a future without him.
Aristide has to come. For me, if he don't come, democracy will never be established in any small country.
Another man told us Aristide is the only one who cares. Now, he said, we can no longer dream. David Bloom, NBC News, Port-au-Prince.
Here at the JFK Library, there is a tribute to his determination to have an American land on the moon first. That was Kennedy's response to the early success of Russia with Sputnik. Things have changed since then, of course, and the Russian space program has fallen on very hard times. NBC's Bob Abernathy tonight.
In Moscow's Gorky Park, a new kind of coming attraction. Russia's first theme park with a simulated ride on a never-used space shuttle. One Soviet shuttle was tested without cosmonauts, but the shuttle program here never really got off the ground, largely because the Russians ran out of money. Now, several investors are trying to turn Soviet failure into private profit by selling imaginary space trips. The price per ticket?
Maybe between $50 or $100.
Tourists will pay that much for a make-believe ride?
Yes, of course.
Semyon Lvov, one of the investors, expects 60 customers at a time for each 2-hour space show beginning in April.
Look at that. It's a real shuttle.
Lvov intends to show movies of the Earth taken from a spacecraft in orbit. He wants live dancers demonstrating weightlessness and real cosmonaut food. Customers on the Gorky Park shuttle will be offered 100 items the cosmonauts eat, from caviar to cookies. I decided to try the borscht. Like most space food, it comes dehydrated in a package designed so the food won't fly all over the spacecraft during weightlessness.
It's ready, Ludmilla?
Finally, the moment. On the Gorky Park ride, we were told customers will be offered bibs and, if they insist, bowls and spoons.
Is it? Pretty good, yeah.
Back in Gorky Park, Mr. Lvov told us if his venture works here, he's going to take it on the road to Asia, Europe, and the USA. Bob Abernathy, NBC News, Moscow.
Pretty good, yeah. The German car maker Volkswagen is asking its 107,000 workers to accept a 4-day work week at lower pay or face 30,000 layoffs. Sales are off. Volkswagen lost almost $1 billion in the first half of this year alone. It was a mixed day here at home on Wall Street. Dow Industrials dropped a bit in heavy trading. When we come back, the race for mayor of New York, and race is issue number one.
There are no jewels in the luggage. Follow her. Inspector, she's leaving.
Jewel of a day, n'est-ce pas? Quite a collection, isn't it, Inspector? You traveling alone?
Rubies, sapphires, emeralds. Elizabeth Taylor's new fragrant jewels.
Day one in the middle of nowhere. The meals have been superb. It's a good thing they have a fitness program aboard every Royal Caribbean ship. Maybe I'll work out tonight before dinner. Maybe I won't. There was something about the streamers at our Bon Voyage party that told me this is going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
I hit the floor at 9 a.m. and I'm going non-stop till we close. That's why I fix a dent and forget it.
An all-night shift and 5 cups of coffee, no problem. Now I fix a dent and forget it.
Even in the hottest liquids, when other adhesives stop holding, Fix-A-Dent holds stronger and longer.
Why not? Now that he switched to Fix-A-Dent, he can go from morning till night and still eat like that.
For the strongest, longest hold, Fix-A-Dent and forget it.
This is hydroplaning in less than an inch of water, and they're being pulled by Goodyear all-season AquaTread radials. AquaTread's deep groove design channels water away as you drive for outstanding traction. Hydroplaning, AquaTreading. Think about it.
The doctor said to use hydrocortisone cream for my itch.
Try Preparation H hydrocortisone cream to effectively relieve problem itch.
It worked great, and I didn't need a prescription.
Preparation H hydrocortisone cream. Prescription strength without a prescription.
His unconventional treatments give cancer victims hope. He's getting rich, but are his patients getting better? Lifesaver or quack? Don't miss Dateline NBC.
Tuesday.
Here in Boston, there's a mayor's race, but this is Boston, so both candidates are Democrats. In New York, it's a much different matchup for control of America's biggest city, an old-fashioned Democrat trying to hang on to power against a crime-busting Republican. And like so much in urban politics in America these days, race is a very big part of the equation. National correspondent Brian Williams tonight.
If you look just beneath the surface in the race for mayor of New York City, you'll find that race is a central issue.
First, Rudolph Giuliani ran ads the New York Times called explicitly racial.
This political season, New Yorkers have been witness to a rough and sometimes dirty campaign.
I think the candidates have really exploited the race issue. And one of the really negative things that's resulted from this campaign is my belief that racial tensions have become worse as a result of the mayoral campaign, which is really a terrible thing to happen.
Even the president took on the issue of race during a visit to New York earlier in the campaign.
Too many of us are still too unwilling to vote for people who are different than we are.
All he said was that some people have a reluctance to vote for persons who are different. I think that's a true statement.
The incumbent mayor, David Dinkins, was elected at least in part on a platform of racial healing. Yet race has been the backdrop for some of the more turbulent moments of his administration, like the black-led boycott of Korean grocery stores, the fighting between police and blacks and Latinos in a section of Manhattan, and the all-out riot 2 years ago between blacks and Orthodox Jews in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. The mayor was later criticized for acting too slowly to stop it.
Increase the peace.
Rudolph Giuliani gained his fame as a prosecutor, as the former U.S. attorney for New York. He led the investigation into insider trading on Wall Street. His tough law and order temperament has been criticized, and he's been accused of using scare tactics on the crime issue as buzzwords for the race issue.
We can't lose our sense of outrage at crime. We can't lose our sense of anger at the way in which our city is declining.
Giuliani has tried to soften his image with family appearances, while Dinkins has called upon Hollywood and the White House for help. Endorsements from the city's 4 major daily newspapers are split at 2-2, and most polls have this race at a dead heat. For David Dinkins to win another term in office, he'll have to galvanize the white, black, Hispanic, and Asian voters who put him into office in the first place. Brian Williams, NBC News, New York.
When Nightly News continues in a moment, remembering JFK's legacy of 1,000 days, all under one roof.
When it comes to investing, we like to go for it.
Our money takes advantage of the market like the big boys do.
Or the big boys.
What's our motto? Diversity is the spice of life. Stocks, bonds, money markets. Dreyfus continually scans the market.
Here's Dreyfus.
Our other motto is never invest on an empty stomach. That's also important.
A puzzle. With so many stomach remedies around, how do you know which you can take for heartburn? And for diarrhea? And for upset stomach? You take Pepto-Bismol to relieve most any common stomach problem, heartburn, upset stomach, and diarrhea. So who needs anything else? That is a puzzle. Pepto-Bismol's the only one you need.
In the 80s, a lot of companies invested their pension funds in questionable real estate. Unfortunately, that's life. In the 80s, we invested most of our pension funds in investment-grade bonds. That's New York Life. New York Life, the company you keep.
If you suffer from awful sinus attacks, try Dristan Sinus. Unlike these, Dristan Sinus has a decongestant and the modern pain reliever ibuprofen to relieve sinus pain, all without drowsiness. Dristan Sinus, the face of relief today.
Sears Days is a very big sale. Right now, save 25% on men's Aero Kent dress shirts. And these men's Lee Wrinkle resistant pants are just $24.99. All this and more through Saturday. It's Sears Days. It's too big to miss.
Saturday morning on Today, an update on the destruction caused by the California fires.
Plus the fatal instincts of Armand Asante. Join us Saturday.
And see what a difference today makes.
Presidential libraries now are a fixture on the American political landscape. The Kennedy Library here, Reagan, Carter, Ford, Nixon, LBJ. And there is a common purpose: to showcase that president's beliefs without the filter of journalists or enemies. Here at the Kennedy Library, the voice of JFK and the eloquence.
The symbolic feeling of a nation, the image the nation presents to the world, its power, prestige, and direction, all ultimately will come to rest upon the next President of the United States.
Everyone is voting for Jack, 'cause he's got what all the rest lack. Everyone wants to back Jack. Jack is on the right track.
My fellow citizens of the world, ask not what America will do for you, but what together we can do for the freedom of man. There are many people in the world who really don't understand, or say they don't, what is the great issue between the free world and the communist world. Let them come to Berlin. We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard. If an American, because his skin is dark, cannot eat lunch in a restaurant open to the public, then who among us would be content to have the color of his skin changed and stand in his place?
When I was first married, our life was almost as hectic as it is now, and I found it rather hard to adjust. But now I think politics is one of the most rewarding lives a woman can have. I think every woman wants to feel needed, and in politics you are.
All this will not be finished in the first 100 days, nor will it be finished in the first 1,000 days, nor in the life of this administration, nor even perhaps in our lifetime on this planet. But let us begin.
That's nightly news for Friday from the John F. Kennedy Library in Boston. This Sunday on Meet the Press, Tim Russert and company on the healthcare debate in America. I'm Tom Brokaw. I'll see you again Monday night.
Monday, fighting a deadly disease and breaking